Hello everyone, it's Blue, and today's video is going to be a speed paint of a Padparadscha and Sapphire fusion. So, I saw the Wanted bomb this past Thursday. I know it aired on Monday, but I haven't been active in this Steven Universe fandom in months, so I binged watched like probably 50 episodes that I missed on Thursday, just so that I could watch the Wanted bomb, because I saw this one screen cap redraw of Blue Diamond when her hair was like floating and she was like crying and looked really upset, and I was like, whoa, I have to see that. So fast forward to now, I've seen all those episodes, I'm caught up with the show, and oh my gosh, we got this little literal gem, Padparadscha, so cute, adorable. She's so slow to everything, and it's honestly like, the way they handle it in the show is so ridiculously adorable. Like, it never gets old to see her reactions to things, even though they're like 30 seconds too late sometimes. It's really adorable. But the reason I decided to do a Padparadscha and Sapphire fusion is because I thought it would be an interesting fusion to even think about, because Padparadscha has this kind of, she can quote unquote only predict things that just happened, which obviously it's not a prediction if it just happened, but I think it's probably because she has past vision. I've been watching a lot of Padparadscha theories, and one, I think I saw one by Slice of Otaku talking about Padparadscha's potential. It might have been Slice of Otaku or the Round Table, Vox from the Round Table, I'm not sure which one, but it was one of those guys, and they were like, oh, Padparadscha probably has like super past vision, and they said either she's just trying too hard to look into the future, and that's why she can't see anything in the past farther back than a couple of seconds, or B, she needs to fuse with Sapphire, who has really good future vision, and that would amplify her past vision so that she could see really, really far into the past, which would be cool, but I honestly think she probably just has the past vision, but because her purpose is to be a future, like an oracle basically, that's just kind of what she's made for, and that's kind of what she's been told that she's supposed to do, even though it's probably been hundreds, maybe even thousands of years since anybody's asked her to predict anything. Gems are made with a purpose, and if they don't fulfill that purpose, they're shattered. So, I also think that Padparadscha has a similar problem to what Sapphire had before she and Ruby fused for the first time, which was that she was never really worried about the present. She was always very, very focused, that's the word. She's always very focused on the present. I mean, not the present, the future. Our Sapphire. She was always focused on the future and never opened her eyes to look at what was going on right in front of her. Now, Padparadscha has this problem where she doesn't see what's going on in front of her, but it's not because she's looking too far into the future, it's because she's focusing so hard on looking into the future that she literally does not realize that the world is passing her by. In a sense, she's kind of constantly lagging behind. I mean, not kind of. She literally is constantly lagging behind. Which is why I think Padparadscha might not have any eyes. I mean, you'd think any sensible person would realize after a while, hey, maybe all these quote-unquote predictions that I'm making, that I keep seeing happen before I say them, you know, if she actually saw them. I don't know. Anyway, I think a Padparadscha fusion and a Sapphire fusion would be really interesting because Sapphire has this really strong future vision where she can literally see, well, now she can see multiple possibilities when she's with Garnet. I mean, when she's part of Garnet. Excuse me. I think if she and Padparadscha fused, it would be a really interesting look into how the show views time and the passage of it and the perception of it in general. Because if they were to handle time in a linear manner, which is kind of the opposite of what they've been handling it this entire time throughout the show, ever since Garnet first talked about her future vision to Steven, when she said, I don't think that was the first time, but at one point she said something like, time flows down paths, in rivers, yada yada yada, and she saw it, things happen depending on what people do, and the future isn't just a straight path. And that was something that Sapphire had to learn, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. I don't know. I think it would be interesting for Padparadscha to kind of experience. Sorry, that was a Skype notification. That was another Skype notification. Sorry about those. But I think Padparadscha, if she were to experience that kind of future vision and realize how far behind she was lagging in the past, I think it would kind of become a detriment to her character as a whole, because she'd realize, hey, I'm not actually serving my purpose, and maybe she'd fall into some kind of depression, and that would be really sad. And I don't know, even though I'd love to see a Padparadscha fusion with Sapphire, I don't see it happening in the show, just because, I don't know, I just feel like Padparadscha she's not the type of gym you fuse with, if you know what I mean. I don't even think I know what I mean, actually. Anyway, let's get on to the fusion design, since that's what we're looking at right now. So, the fusion design was, it was pretty easy to do because they're such similar gyms already. It was kind of hard to, like, because they both have the same gloves, they both have that same poofy style dress, they have basically the same values, the same value structure, where they have lighter values toward the top, darker values toward the bottom, and very dark values around the center of their bodies to draw attention to the center of their bodies. The only thing that I did change with that was that I made their darkest color toward the bottom, and I think I made the hair maybe a bit too light or dark, I can't remember. But as a fusion, I don't, some people show the fusion having her eyes open, which I get why they do that, because Sapphire doesn't really need to see where she's going because she has future vision, she knows blah blah blah, and Padparadscha doesn't care about where she's going because she lags so far behind. I don't even think she focuses on the present either, which is something I was talking about earlier. But like, I get why people do that, but I don't know. I don't think the fusion would even need to look, because if Padparadscha has past vision, like I think she does, that fusion would literally know everything that has ever happened and is going to happen, and would have infinite knowledge of time in the universe, and would essentially become, I don't know, something really cool. I think it would be cool if... So, we know Sapphire has ice powers, and that might be tied to her being a blue gem, whatever. But if Padparadscha is supposed to be kind of the opposite of Sapphire, very chipper and bright, and not to say that Sapphire isn't bright, but she's not really... Sapphire is much more demure, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. She's very, she's not really too outgoing, particularly. I mean, she jokes around with Ruby a lot, from the few interactions we've seen of them with each other. She's very outgoing with Ruby, she's very outspoken with Ruby, but she looks like the type of gem to keep to herself a lot. And Padparadscha is kind of the opposite. She's very friendly and very open and very willing to accept people almost immediately. And I think that would be an interesting dynamic to see in the fusion. Because Padparadscha is so friendly and Sapphire is not unfriendly, but she's not nearly as friendly as Patty. Because they're so opposite, I think that would be an interesting thing to see in a fusion. Because, I don't know, I just want to see their powers. Like, what do you get when you have a gym that lags really far behind and a gym that's always 4 steps ahead? Like, what do you get? Do they become grounded in the present and neither their visions just kind of cancel out? Or do they become the opposite of grounded in the present and they're constantly living every second that's ever happened and is ever going to happen? That's just, I don't know, it's an interesting dynamic, you know? But, yeah. And you just saw that, but that was me Googling different names for a purple sapphire because I didn't want to call her purple sapphire because purple is such a freaking ugly word, and I didn't want to call her violet sapphire because that's freaking... I mean, violet isn't an ugly word, but it's, you know, whatever. But, yeah. That's my blue and Padparadscha sapphire fusion. Violet sapphire. And this is the end of the video, so if you like the video, you can like it. If you like any of my other videos, you can subscribe down below. I make videos whenever, but I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye!